Hey YouTube, we're doing another video down here because I just really like this area. It's right downtown Des Moines, got the dam in the background. I'm a fisherman, big time. I like coming down here to catch fish. I've also got a lot of aquariums, as you've seen in other videos. Those are all fish I caught down here, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, today's video, we're gonna be talking about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies. So, the whole idea, what is Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is similar to cash, without paper to back it up, without a government that says this is worth something. Bitcoin is digital currency. It's basically numbers in an algorithm that says this has value because it cannot be replicated more than a certain given number of times, and people are willing to accept it for payments for goods and services. It isn't real widespread now, but you've got companies like Newegg and a few others where you can use Bitcoin as your payment. A lot of people believe in Bitcoin because it can't be inflated. It's not subject to inflation like the dollars of all these countries where the government goes through a hard time and they start just printing more dollars, making more money, and now your dollar's worth less because there's more dollars in circulation. That can't happen with Bitcoin. There's the blockchain is what it's called, only allows for so many Bitcoins. I believe it's 21, I'd have to look it up. I don't remember how many exactly, but there's a limit. There's a maximum number of potential Bitcoins that can be in existence. So, that being said, what's the big difference between the dollar and Bitcoin? The biggest thing, government. The dollar is worth $1 because the government says $1 is worth $1. The government says you can exchange $1 for any goods or services in our country. Oh, there's a hornet trying to land on me. Don't mind that. I don't know if you can see him there. So there's no government backing with Bitcoin, right? It's purely digital currency and just pretty much accepted as payment by companies or individuals that accept it as payment. There's no government that says you have to accept this because it is part of our government or part of our finance system. There's a lot of different coins that have come out, or digital currencies that have come out since Bitcoin because Bitcoin's so popular. You've got Ethereum and Litecoin and a number of others. This video we're just focusing on Bitcoin because that's the big one. That's the one that everybody's heard of, everybody knows it. A lot of people believe that it's going to become the future currency of our country. As far as investing in Bitcoin, there's one key thing that you need to remember. Bitcoin does not produce. If you buy an asset, say you buy one share in Apple stock, Apple's a company, they produce goods, they produce services, they are generating revenue. And when you go to sell that, if you sell it in the future, that one share of Apple that you bought has produced something over the years. It has done something. Bitcoin, a lot like gold, is still going to be worth one Bitcoin. It's done nothing. It's just one Bitcoin. It's just a form of currency. So if you invest in Bitcoin, what you're really hoping is that someone in the future is going to be willing to pay you more for that Bitcoin than you spent on it. Looking back 5 years, Bitcoin is up over 5,000%. It can be easy to look at that and think, man, I should have bought in 5 years ago. I'd be so rich now. 5,000% is a huge, huge gain. But is there value there? Or is this all just an idea that's going to fade away at some point in time or be replaced by the next digital currency or a government-backed digital currency? I think Bitcoin is a lot more of a gamble than an investment. You're hoping that Bitcoin becomes accepted by more and more places, more and more governments. You're hoping that it's seen as currency for years going forward. And you're hoping that in the future, it's going to be worth more dollars than you're paying for it now. But like I said, if it's not producing anything, it's not growing, it's not really adding value to itself, it's purely speculation. All you're doing is betting that in the future it's going to be worth more. So my personal opinion would be to stay away from Bitcoin, even though you've missed out on 5,000% returns in the last 5 years. We don't know if Bitcoin's going to go to $10,000 for a bit. Well, it's past that now. I think it's 11,000 today. We don't know if it's going to go to $100,000 or back to $1. It's purely speculation. So if you're a gambler and you want to take that chance, by all means, invest in Bitcoin. But you have to understand that Bitcoin's not growing, it's not producing, it's not adding value to itself. So what you're really gambling on is more people in the future are going to accept it as payment, and as the demand for Bitcoin goes up, the price of Bitcoin goes up. As more and more people accept Bitcoin as payment, it's going to have more and more value, and you're going to be able to sell it for a higher dollar amount. This is basically all there is to Bitcoin, or most of the cryptocurrencies are fairly similar. I know Facebook was trying to do one, I don't remember what they called it, Libra, I think Libra coin. And Facebook was going to put a lot of money behind this. They were going to try to grow it into a very large currency accepted by individuals like us and just all the people that use their platform. The government kind of shut that down. They made it very difficult. I don't know if it was necessarily like you cannot do this no matter what, or they just made it very, very difficult. But Facebook, in the end, decided it wasn't worth their time, and the idea didn't work out. And you can understand why. If the government allowed a cryptocurrency to become the national standard, then they would lose an enormous amount of control. There would be no way for them to produce more of it to pay off debts that they couldn't otherwise pay off. There'd be no way for them to control how much of it was in circulation. The government has a lot of control over the dollar and over the value of the dollar. They can manipulate it up or down, they can add more, they can take some away. They can do a lot of things to the dollar. With cryptocurrency, they lose that control. And that's why a lot of people like cryptocurrency. And the idea there that the government can't tamper with it is tempting, for sure. But investing in it now means you believe that it's going to become accepted as a currency across a bigger market than it is now, and therefore have more value than you're paying for it now. I personally have only been invested in cryptocurrencies once, and it was for like 2 months in 2017, right as Bitcoin got up towards its all-time highs. I bought in, I held for a couple of weeks, it went way up, I sold, thank goodness I sold. It went from I think 19,000 per Bitcoin down to 3,000 the following year. So I got in at the wrong time, I got out at the right time, and I probably wouldn't get back into it just because there's so much uncertainty there. I can't look at Bitcoin and say, I know it's undervalued and I know it's worth more than what it's trading for. I can do that with an asset or with a stock. I can't look at Bitcoin and say, I know it's going to produce this for me over the next 10 years. I know it's going to grow to this size over the next 10 years. I can do that with a stock. I can't do that with Bitcoin. So everything about investing in Bitcoin is hypothetical. It's all just hoping that the demand for this currency grows over time and the popularity grows, and so the value goes straight up with the demand. Now, I probably would accept, if I don't run a business right now where I'm being paid by customers, I probably would accept Bitcoin if I was, just because I don't think it's going away anytime soon. I do see it as a form of payment because it has a value in dollars right now, and as long as you convert it back to dollars quickly, you're not going to lose, a bunch of money. But as far as holding on to cryptocurrencies for a long period of time and hoping that they go up in value, there's just too much risk there for me. I try real hard not to gamble with my money. I try only to buy things that I know are worth more than I'm paying for them. And because I don't have that guarantee with Bitcoin, I don't see it as an investment. It's not really an option for me. So I like the idea. I like the fact that it can't be tampered with by the government. I like the fact that it's not subject to inflation. But I don't like the idea of investing in it as something that I plan to see growth or more value added over time. So when I look at it, it's interesting to watch. I've definitely been watching the price over the last couple of years, but it's just not something, even if it goes up another 10,000% this year, yeah, I'd like to make 10,000%, but the risk isn't worth the reward to me, because it could just as easily go down 90%. So not knowing and the uncertainty of Bitcoin is the reason that I'm not invested in it. If you have any questions about it or any questions on this video, I'd be happy to go through, answer as much as I can. I've been watching Bitcoin for a few years now, and it's an interesting idea, to say the least. I completely understand why it's popular. I understand why people like the idea. It's just not something that entices me personally when I look at it from a value standpoint. So if you have any questions about it or want to know any more, get a hold of me. That's it for this video. If you could like and subscribe, I would absolutely appreciate it. I'm trying to grow this channel. Right now I think I've got about 6 views per video, which is great. I'm glad. 6 people are watching my videos. I hope they can get some value from it, but bigger's better. So if you want to like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. Thank you very much, and I will see you on the next video.